This is the Upcoming Podcast with your host, Zach Collins.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Upcoming Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Collins. As people know, the Upcoming Podcast is for athletes that are up and coming, who are always working towards the extra yard, or in this case, many yards, as I introduce today's upcoming athlete, Nick Denning from the AHSTW football team, as we actually have back-to-back AHSTW athletes. So big news there. So Nick, welcome to the podcast, and introduce yourself just a little bit to the audience and people who might not know you. I don't know you all that well, so introduce yourself a little bit.
I'm Nick Denning, and I am a senior at AHSTW. I play 4 sports: football, obviously, basketball, track, and baseball.
So you're busy a little bit, pretty much all year round, if you want to put it in that case. Keeps you in shape, keeps you out of trouble, though. I always say that. It's probably the best thing it could do, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So, Nick, you haven't been here before. A lot of people haven't been here before, but we just kind of start you off with trivia. So we're going to get into trivia here. So you don't know any of these questions. I came up with these questions maybe about an hour ago. So really half of them I didn't know until maybe about an hour ago. So I'm going to expand your knowledge a little bit. You're in class all day. You come here and now you get to learn stuff about football and other little things. So I've got a question for you. It's a football related question. So we're not going to start off on something crazy. So the first game of American football was played on November 6, 1869. Between what teams? And now I'm going to give you options because, heck, I didn't even know this. So A is going to be Harvard and Rutgers. B, Rutgers versus Princeton. C, Penn versus William Hartford. Or D, Yale versus Cornell.
I think it's A.
You're going to go with A?
Yeah, I think it's the Rutgers for sure.
So you're so close. It's B. You were right about Rutgers. They took on Princeton in the first game.
Oh, okay.
And the funny thing is, you weren't able to use your hands in that game. So it's almost like soccer, but yeah, I know. Look it up. It's really bizarre. The football's like a soccer-shaped ball that's covered in leather and it still has like an ability to throw it, but you can't throw it. You can only just chuck it back. Really weird. I don't know. We're 0 of 1, though, which is okay. We'll just move on to question number 2. So this is a tech question. It has nothing to do with sports whatsoever. Do you actually own an iPhone? Or do you have an Android phone? You have an iPhone? Okay. So the company that makes that phone is, of course, Apple. Apple's an older company. It's something that a lot of people don't know. What decade was Apple founded?
I'm going to say 1990s.
1990s? Locked and loaded? All in?
I guess.
Just shrugs his shoulders, goes, yeah, I'm in. But unfortunately, no.
Oh.
It was actually founded in the 1970s. So Apple started off making computers even throughout the 80s and stuff. And in the 90s, they actually had problems with computers setting themselves on fire. So they've changed a little bit. They've gotten a little bit better. They're not setting on fire anymore. So that's a good thing. We're 0 of 2, though. Not a great thing. But how much do you know about your history, Nick? Not much?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Okay, that's fine.
No.
We're going to go to a little bit of European German history, kind of a little bit. We're not going in like medieval times. This is kind of recent-ish, 1990s history. So the German car was built by the Soviet Union in East Germany. This car was considered by pretty much everybody to be the worst car in the history of the world. What car do you think that was called? And kind of a hint for you, it starts with a T, and they were the only car you could buy in East Germany from the 1950s all the way to the 1990s. The nickname for these cars I will give you, which kind of gives the name away, but you might still not know it. They called them Trabis.
I have no clue.
It's all right. You know what? We'll do this. It's actually called Trabant. You can't actually recycle them because they're not made out of metal. They're made out of some random material that you actually can't produce and you can't recycle. So for decades, these things will live on. So look them up. They're kind of cool. If you want to get into history, look into it. Why not? But hey, we're 0 3. We're doing just fine, Nick. We still have 5 questions left. So, I mean, prepare for the rest of these. So, this one's actually about you. So, I know your eyes kind of got wide open. No, I'm not. I didn't go into your personal history and look up anything. It's just stats, okay? We're not going crazy here. So, this season you've played very well on defense, so kudos to you. You're second on the team in tackles. How many tackles do you have
This year,
this year?
I
And if you're
think
close, I'll give it to you.
30, 30, 31, around there.
You got it. You got 30 and a half. So 30, 31 was perfect. Perfect. Hey, we're 1 of 4 now. That's good. I mean, yeah, we struck out, but we're getting back in it. We're getting back at it. It's like a new at bat for you. So we're going to go. We got about 4 left. This one is an interesting one. It's a football related question. You a big football fan, NFL fan?
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay, we'll take kind of. Kind of is better than no. So, name one of the 3 teams that went a whole season defeated. So, without a win. Just name me one team and I will give you the green light pretty much.
The Browns.
The Browns is correct. The Browns were awful in 2017. And my God, I don't think they. I mean, did you ever see the weather reporter that grew out his beard in that year? He said he would never shave until they won a game. And he grew a beard and it went almost down to his stomach because he had to go for the next season. And then he was able to finally shave his beard in like 2018.
I didn't see that. That's cool
Look
though.
it up. It's pretty cool. So, also a couple other teams, the 2008 Detroit Lions, they went defeated, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 1976. They went 0-14 though. So, bit different. It was kind of their first year and they got the worst players ever and just sucked. It's the best way I can put it. So, hey, we got 2 right now, Nick. This is impressive.
Good.
If we continue to go, this will be more impressive. So, this is another football one. This is college football. So, what college football team has the most wins of all time? Now, I didn't give you options, but they are from the standpoint of 1879. So, it's got to be more so eastern portion of the country. And it's not someone on the East Coast.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it the Big Ten or
It is the
not
Big
the
Ten. It is
Okay.
Big Ten.
Well, I mean, the Rutgers played the first game, but I don't think it's them.
It's not them. I'll give you that. Okay.
Is it the Ohio State Buckeyes?
Is that your final answer?
I guess.
You guess. Unfortunately, no. It's someone who plays north of Michigan in the Big Ten. So Michigan actually is the winningest team in college football. They have 962 total wins. And the ones that come closest are Alabama as well as Rutgers that you mentioned before. But Rutgers wins, I mean, clearly are not recent wins. They're very far in the past, but Michigan's actually the one. So, hey, we didn't get that one, but it's fine. How much do you know about your states? Probably not
We'll
much.
see, I guess.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. See, you're a smart guy. You know exactly what you're doing. So, this is a question with options. So, what was the first state founded in the United States based on when they accepted the U.S. Constitution? So, your options are Vermont, Delaware, New York, or Florida. I know the last one's a weird one, but couldn't come up with another state.
See, I think I want to say New York, but I don't think that's right.
Okay.
But I mean, evidently I don't know a lot, so I'll just go with New York.
You're going to go with New York? Well, New York is not what you're going to be singing here in this case. It's actually Delaware. So they were founded originally in, I believe, it's 1761. If I'm probably wrong, but it was in the early 1700s, and then Pennsylvania was followed right after Delaware. That's about my extensive knowledge. If you ask me the state afterwards, I honestly have no idea. That is just from my knowledge. This is what I keep in my head, Nick. Like, I don't keep actual things in my head that matter. I keep useless amounts of information. So we're doing just fine, though. We've got one more left. Now, you probably haven't seen any of the previous episodes, but this is one that I've carried over to this one because, well, I just think, a lot of people know it and a lot of people don't. We'll see if you do. So if you're close, I'll just give it to you. So, what year was the first iPod released?
2008.
2008. Is that your final? You've hit the button. You've given everything into this answer.
I guess so.
You guess so. Well, unfortunately, it's not. It's 2001. So just jump back 7 years. But hey, you know what? We did just fine in trivia. These are the bonus questions. So these are questions about me. You don't know about me. Most people don't know about me. That's fine. This is what the questions are for. So I'm a big shoe guy. I own a lot of shoes, which is not a great investment. But when you're in college and you got money and you decide, well, those look cool, and then you buy them, and then your buddy buys some, and then you want more. That was me. Don't do that. Save your money. Don't be dumb. But in terms of shoes, how many pairs of shoes do I own?
24.
I have no idea if you went in my closet earlier today, but you got a bonus question correct. So I do own 24 pairs of shoes. Okay. Well, Nick, that's impressive and creepy, but at the same time, it's really impressive. So I'll give it to you. Now, here's another one that you can get a bonus on because I just threw in another one. What brand of shoes do I own the most of? And this has options. Okay. Starter, Vans, Nike, or Adidas?
See, you have the Adidas shirt on,
I do.
but I'll go with Nike.
You go with Nike?
Yeah.
It's all right. We're fine. It's actually Starter out of all the brands, which is crazy. You probably have no idea what Starter even is.
No.
No, look it up. They have some cool shoes. They used to make NFL uniforms in the 90s, bunch of the jackets. If you ever see like a cool sports team jacket, it's likely a Starter jacket. So you learned something today. And somehow you guessed how many pairs of shoes I have. So, I mean, I don't know how you did, but I'm actually very impressed. So you got one bonus, right? So we're going to move on to the coach's question here. Now, this is more serious, this is more sports based. But he actually just asked kind of about your leadership. He didn't ask, super personal question like, what would you do in the situation where, nothing like that. But
Yeah.
he's asking, what leadership role have you taken this season, and how will you carry that role with you further on in life?
Well, so last year we started calling plays on defense. And since I was the safety and I was like everybody could look at me like for the play, so I would start calling out the plays kind of like a quarterback does, but instead on defense. So then now that I'm a senior, obviously, it carried over into this season. And even the linemen will ask like what to do on plays, and I can give them sometimes I can give them like what they're supposed to do, what gaps they're supposed to cover. And I'm just a defensive led leadership role basically. And I'm there for all my teammates, even when like there's a bad call. Like sometimes our linebackers get in a little scuffles, and I got to take them away from the play. And even if I don't agree with them necessarily, like I want them to get in the scuffle, but I got to get them away to keep them in the game, obviously.
That's impressive to be able to read the offense that well to kind of know the gaps in your own defense, especially just being in the safety position. That's impressive stuff, Nick. I got to give you that. And how are you going to take kind of I mean, even just that leadership role with you. I know you can't, if you're doing an office job, you can't kind of sit in the office and see what the scheme's going to be or find the gaps or the open holes. But, you're able to kind of take what you learned throughout football. How are you going to take that further on to life, college, job, whatever you're going to go do? How are you going to take it with you?
Well, I think Coach Harris, he always says your voice is your confidence, and I think that's something that I need to stick with because I can be loud sometimes, and if everybody's on the same page with me, if it's through football, through work, just hanging out with your friends, it impacts everybody, and everything impacts everything. He also says that a lot.
I like that though. Everything impacts everything. That's true. I mean, if someone messes up, it's going to impact something else. If you get a good tackle, it's going to impact the rest of the game. So I like that actually. So now I got some random questions I've just thrown together about you. Now I know you're a multi sport athlete. I looked at some of your stats. I'm not going to ask you about your stats because, frankly, that's kind of boring if we just do the stat show. I mean, we do something else here. So, out of the sports, and you can be honest with me here, your coaches aren't going to come after you. What is your favorite sport to play overall and why?
Oh, it has to be baseball. I just I love playing it, and there's never a dull moment. Like we could be doing hard drills, and I'll enjoy every second of it. I mean, I hate losing in baseball, but that's all that matters to me, honestly. Is I don't really care about my stats in baseball, more so if we win or lose. So, but baseball.
Awesome. And, kind of talking back to football a little bit here, in terms of football, kind of your favorite thing? I know you're a receiver. I know you're on defense as well. What position do you like to play the most and why?
Well, I don't really like the positions the most, but I like hitting people. And my
Okay.
friends kind of joke around with me that I don't like football. I like hitting people. So I'd probably say anywhere on defense.
Nice. You want to get like into wrestling too then in the future or just you just like hitting people in football and just see how it goes?
Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
wrestle back in junior
Okay.
high and younger grades, but
You
stuck with
did get in
basketball.
there. Gotcha. And, with basketball, what positions do you play? What kind of keeps you motivated in basketball? Because a lot of guys, they'll play football, they play basketball, they play baseball. Why do you play basketball?
Well, it used to be because all my friends did it, so I was like, "Oh, I gotta do it." And I mean, that probably is it. And I had a good time playing with them because they were really good. But I also have friends out now, so I'd say if relationships you made, why not one more year?
Why not? Just keep going with it. Keep trying it out, see how it goes. So, I mean, are there any other activities you're involved in your busy sports schedule that are, kind of outside sports? Do you have a job? Do you participate in 4-H? Do you know, go dirt racing? I don't know. What does Nick do in his free time?
Yeah, I dabble in 4-H a little bit. I'm not too involved, but I'm in 4-H. I'm in student council too, and then
Okay, what do you
I mow
guys
lawns for a job.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's fine. What do you guys do in student council? Some
We
people give
kind
me
of like,
really different answers, so I'm curious.
well, we plan like school events, like we do a Veterans Day assembly, and then we do like themes for the games. Like we pick themes and stuff like that.
Okay. So just kind of having a good time, just kind of picking things out and organizing events. Sounds awesome. But hey, it gets you prepared for the future. Kind of, in some ways.
A little
You
bit.
work together with other people and you try to come up with a goal. It's kind of
Yeah.
close. Yeah. So, what are your favorite sports teams? I know you mentioned you watch a little bit of football, but are there any like teams that are professional that you love to watch, players that you love to watch, anything like that?
Well, so in football, I'm a big Dallas Cowboys fan.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
it's good this year because they're good so far. But
I mean, they blew out the Giants in week 1, so and by blowout, I mean like legit blowout so bad that it was like, "Oh, okay, we didn't expect that to happen." So, bet you're having fun watching that game at least.
yeah, and then for baseball, I like Manny Machado. He's the goat, as you could say.
Okay. So, do you cheer for the Padres then, or you're just a Manny Machado kind of fan?
Yeah, I'm a Padres fan, but
Okay.
Manny Machado is just the best.
He is. Do you like how he, like, did the wave at one point at third base and had a ground ball hit in between his legs? I mean, I know he's a great player. I'll give him that, but you gotta see that video. I mean, he's literally, like, looking at the crowd doing the wave and then looks down and the ball's coming through his legs on a ground ball. It's probably the best
Yeah,
video ever.
he definitely has his moments, and I think that's what makes it funny. He's got a lot of swag.
He does. He just carries swag with him. I mean, it's just something that he's just kind of known for, I guess. So, kind of asking you a little bit, it's your senior year, and a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's my senior year. Like, what am I going to do?" What is kind of one thing in sports that you would like to do, and what's something you'd like to accomplish this football season, basketball, baseball, so on?
I think for football, I really just want to win some more games and then go pretty deep in the playoffs because we were so close last year. And I just want to get there this year.
And then, kind of moving on to the other sport. I know you mentioned track a little bit. What do you run in track?
Slow,
Okay, slow's fine. Is slow in terms of sprint slow or long distance slow?
sprint slow, but I'm more of a hurdle runner. So
Okay.
100 hurdles and 400 hurdles. That's kind of my thing.
Okay. Well, what are your times in it though? You can't be that slow, Nick.
Uh, it's around a minute, like 59 seconds is my 400 hurdles usually.
Okay. What about your like 100 or 110 or whatever you guys run?
Those are about 16, 15 around there.
Okay. That's not that bad. You're making me feel like you're running like 25s in this or, minute 20s. It's not that
No,
bad.
not that slow.
Okay. You mentioned slow, and I was thinking that in my head. I'm like, there's no way that Nick Denning could be doing that. But no, you're doing just fine. So, got one other question for you. This is actually from Riley Knopp, who I interviewed quite a while ago. She runs cross country. She asked for the next guest. So, I pretty much tell him I have no idea who I'm interviewing. We just kind of pick out of a hat and see what team we're doing next. And she asked, what is your favorite food?
I would have to go with a Chick-fil-A sandwich, spicy Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Ooh, spicy. Okay. I'm happy you said the spicy one because that one's probably the best sandwich ever. I don't think you
It's
can beat
good.
it. It is good. So now I got to ask you for our next guest. You have no idea who it is. I have no idea who it is. It could be a random question. It could be about you and they have to do research. I don't know. Whatever you want. What's the next question for our next guest?
If they could be any animal, what animal would they be?
Okay. Well, let me ask that back to you. What would you be?
Uh, well, there's a lot of options. Maybe like a shark.
Shark? Nice. Okay, I'll take a shark. There's a terrible shark movie right now on Amazon Prime. Do not watch it. Like, do just don't. Don't. Watch Jaws. It'll make your life better. So, much better movie. Nick, thank you for joining me here. You did pretty well on trivia overall. We haven't seen anyone get over that like 500 mark yet. So, tell your friends to just like start updating people on trivia so that we get somebody on here who just knows what they're talking about. I pretty much go on a
All
random
right.
trivia website. So just go on a random trivia website with your buddies and see what happens. It's a fun night if you want something to do. So, but Nick, thank you for joining me, taking some time out of your day. You guys are a pretty great team yourselves, so it seems like it'll be a really great game on Friday night.
I hope so. Thanks for
Me
having
too.
me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for jumping on here, and thank you all for joining us on the upcoming podcast. We'll see you again next week.
This presentation of the upcoming podcast has been an exclusive presentation of Meredith Communications. Any use of this podcast without the express written consent of Meredith Communications is prohibited.